Hey everybody, how's it going? SSJ Blue Vegeta here, showing you guys a Timelord deck profile. Timelord is a really cool archetype, kind of like the show, what it used to be basically. Doctor Who is what I'm talking about if you didn't know. Doctor Who, it was a good show. Then Peter Capaldi showed up, then it kind of went downhill from there. But let's get on into the list. So first off, 3 Time Maidens, obvious staple for any Timelord deck in general. So Time Maiden, what she does is if you control no monsters, you can special summon her from your hand, and then she also counts as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Time Lord monster. So if you just want to special summon her out, then just get her to grave for her graveyard effect real quick. So her graveyard effect, you can banish her to special summon a Time Lord with 0 attack from the deck, ignoring summoning conditions, because all Time Lords say that they cannot be special summoned from the deck. So Time Maiden, really great card. Then 3 of my personal favorite Time Lord, Sandaion the Time Lord. Sadly, he cannot be special summoned with Time Maiden's effect because he has 4,000 attack points. Now, Time Maiden, basically, if you control no monsters, you can normal summon him without tributing. Same thing goes with every other Time Lord monster, normal summon without tribute if you control no monsters. But actually he's actually pretty special. Because if you control no monsters and your opponent controls a monster, you normal summon without tributing. Kind of like the Cyber Dragon effect, but normal summon instead of special summon. And then his effect, at the end of the battle phase, if he battled, inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent's life points. Every Time Lord has a unique effect like that. So, we got 3, Zaphion the Time Lord. Good old Zaphion the Time Lord, at the end of the battle phase, if he battled, all spell and traps on the field on your opponent's side of the field get shuffled back into the deck. And also, all Time Lords have an effect to where they cannot be destroyed by card effects. But after that, 3 Lazion the Time Lord, my personally second favorite Time Lord. What he does is at the end of the battle phase, all cards in your opponent's graveyard get shuffled back to the deck. So if it's like late game and your opponent doesn't want that one card that they need to like win the game really evenly matched, or interrupt, basically, he get your opponent's graveyard get shuffled back into the deck. There we go. Words I can't speak. Your opponent's graveyard gets shuffled back into the deck. And then once per turn, if your opponent were to draw a card, inflict 1,000 damage. And that's just in general, it's not 1,000 damage for each card drawn. So you want to do that during the draw phase so you get that definite 1,000 burn damage. You don't want to see if your opponent has like a trade in or something for that. Then 2, Medaion the Time Lord. Medaion the Time Lord, at the end of the battle phase, if he battles, all attack position monsters return to the hand, and your opponent takes 300 points of damage for each card sent back to the hand, which is why a Kaiju engine is kind of neat, so you can Kaiju your opponent's stuff and return your own Kaijus to your hand and inflict damage to your opponent. Then 2 Mickey-on the Time Lord, at the end of the battle phase, if he battled, have your opponent's life points. Really great to go into OTK potential. Then 2 of Raphion the Time Lord. Raphion's really neat. His effect is that at the end of the battle phase, if he battled and inflict damage to your opponent, deal damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster it battled. And then onto the 1-ofs in the deck. 1 Halion the Time Lord. His effect is that at the end of the battle phase, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference. This effect doesn't really come up as often because this is a burn-based deck, so your opponent's life points will most likely be lower than yours, but still, it comes up occasionally. Then 1 Sadion the Time Lord. His effect is if your life points are lower than 4,000, raise your life points to 4,000. Pretty simple, helps with Trickstar matchups. Then good old Camion the Time Lord. At the end of the battle phase, if he battled, shuffle 1 card your opponent controls into the deck, and your opponent takes 300. That's why I only run 1, kind of debating on taking him out because he's not as useful, it's just some minor burn damage. Then onto the spells, 3 Celestial Transformation. The spells come up are pretty standard for a Time Lord deck, but Celestial Transformation, special summon a Time Lord, special summon a Fairy Time Monster from your hand. Its attack is halved, and it's destroyed during the end phase. Well, Time Lords, their attack is 0, so you can't really have 0. Except for good old Sandion, he's going to go down to 2,000, but so what? You don't take any battle damage from attacks involving Time Lord monsters. And destroying during the end phase, they won't get destroyed because of the Time Lord's effect of they cannot be destroyed by card effects. Then on to some more spells. 3, Pot of Duality. So, Pot of Duality, I was actually debating running this at first. I saw other people were, and I'm like, okay, so you special summon off of Time Maiden, you special summon off of 1-for-1, Celestial Transformation going into your Xyz summons. Then I realized, those are all very specific circumstances. This deck most likely normal summons a lot, because you normal summon your Time Lords, and most of the cards, unless you have Celestial Transformation in your hand, or 1-for-1, you're not really going to special summon at all, because you can only control one Time Lord monster, but because of all the monsters that you need to tribute summon. Then 3, Advanced Draw. Advanced Draw are really good. Basically tribute a level 8 or higher monster to draw 2 cards, so it can kind of get rid of your Time Lords. Then 2, Double Summon to help with that. Basically, what Double Summon, how it helps, you'll get out a Time Lord, activate Advanced Draw to draw 2 cards, activate Double Summon, and then just normal summon another one of your Time Lords. Then on to the 1-ofs, 1-for-1, Foolish Burial, and Dark Hole. 1-for-1, discard one of your Time Lords to special summon a Time Maiden if you don't have access to it. Foolish Burial to send a Time Maiden if you need a Time Lord monster in your hand. And Dark Hole for board wipe if you're going against a card like Samurai Destroyer or just some other card where effects can't be activated during the battle phase, because this deck revolves around the battle phase and you don't want that. Now onto the traps. 2, Empty Machines. One thing that the first 2 traps have in common is that they, once per turn, if they are to be destroyed by card effects, they are not. So if they have an MST, they'd have to use 2 of them to get over it. Then his effect is you can discard one of your Time Lord monsters to draw 1 card. Basically just discard a level 10 or higher monster, draw 1 card. And then his other effect, when both of these effects are only once per turn. His other effect is that you can shuffle a Time Lord monster from your graveyard into the deck to instantly set an Infinite Machine. An Infinite Machine here, Infinite Machine has the same effect as Empty Machine, and basically during the main phase you can special summon a Time Lord monster, and then its other effect, shuffle a Time Lord in from the graveyard in the deck to set an Infinite Light directly from the deck. Then Infinite Light, really great card here. So Infinite Light, it can't be destroyed by card effects in general. And now your Time Lords cannot be targeted by effects. At first they couldn't be destroyed by card effects. Now they can't even be targeted in general. And then its other effect is that your Time Lords do not get shuffled back into the deck during the standby phase. And if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 each of a Time Lord from hand, deck, and grave, ignoring summoning conditions. So yeah, really great card. I only run 1 of it though, because you have to activate it by Infinite Machine. You could make the argument of, yeah, you could run 2, because I am running 2 Infinite Machines. So you could make that argument, but I've only gotten 1 out at times, and since it can't be destroyed in general, running 1 is just already okay. Now onto the extra deck. I have 3, Super Dreadnought Real Cannon Gustav Max. It's great for the OTK potential, and I'll tell you what the OTK is. Basically, you have to have like Celestial Transformation, Sandion, and good old Mickeon. So you'll normal summon Sandion, activate Celestial Transformation. You'll normal summon Sandion, activate Celestial Transformation to special summon the Mickeon, and then basically you do attacks, and you have to be very careful of the chain 1, chain 2s. So this needs to be chain 1, this needs to be chain 2. Chain 2 will go off first, your opponent's life points will get halved, and then so let's say it's the beginning of the game. They have 8,000 life points. And then his effect, it gets lowered down to 2,000, you exceed into Super Dreadnought and go for game. And it'll be exactly game. And so, next off for the last card in my few cards in my extra deck, 3, number 81, Super Cannon, Rail Cannon, Super Ghidorah person, long name, Konami Y. Basically, his effect, detach material, target a monster your opponent controls. It has its effects negated except for its own. Pretty good effect, but also, it's just a 4K wall that you can keep up there. But yeah, that is it for my Time Lord deck profile. Time Lord, an extra deck for Time Lords is 100% optional. They can function by themselves with just the main deck. The extract's 100% optional. I got these 6 cards, and I'm like, you know what? That's sufficient enough for a deck profile. I might bring you guys an updated one whenever the extra deck is completed, but that's all I got for right now. So yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.